Hello, Shrewdness fans. Welcome to the latest Royals update. We're in the opening month, or opening 6 weeks or so of the 2025 Major League Baseball season. And the Royals are, after a bit of a nosedive and losing six in a row, they've actually had a really good last couple of weeks. So,
Looking on fire. What happened?
yeah, Chiz, what's causing the
Like,
changing of the trajectory here?
we went from a. This is like, if you're a lifelong Royals fan, this is very royally. I mean, the streaks are crazy, and what's happened over the last week is insane because I'm looking now, and in the last 15 games, they're 13-2. 13-2. Now, granted, three of those games were against the Rockies. That was a sweep. They swept the Rays. They went 2-1 against the Astros. They went 2-1 against the Orioles over the weekend, and they've won the first two against the White Sox in the series. So they have completely flipped the fortunes, and it isn't like there have been a couple games where they started hitting more, but like this still is not their bread and butter, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to their pitching is ridiculous. Like in that streak, they have given up more than 3 runs 3 times. They've given up more than 3 runs 3 times in that 15 games. 15-game streak where you only gave up more than 3 runs 3 times is ridiculous. The starting pitching is incredible, and that's how the Royals are going to make the playoffs this year. If they can just get enough hitting like they've been able to do. Tonight they won 4-3 against the White Sox. They scored 4 runs. It's not incredible. Last night they scored 3 runs and they won. They won 3-0. So they're going to win a lot of those games like that with this kind of a staff. The staff is great. The relief pitching has gotten much better with a couple changes and additions and subtractions.
Much better, yes.
So, like, this team is going to be tough just because you're not going to be able to score on them. And if you get a couple key hits from the Pasquantinos, Michael Garcia, what? He was fifth in the American League in batting going into tonight. That is not expected. But he is hitting the ball really well. Drew Waters is consistently hitting the ball well. We're hoping that this is the Drew Waters that finally sticks. I mean, he's hitting 275. We'll take that all day out of a corner outfielder, given what was the beginning of the season, where no one was producing anything. So they're getting some key hits. The fun Royals stat for this week is the Royals had 18 home runs going into Sunday's game, in which they had 7. So they had, I don't know what that percentage is, Peru. I don't know what that percentage is of your home runs in a season. But when you have 7 of your, well, I can almost do that math. It's like 30% of your home runs in one game, right? 7 of 25 in one game. Like, that's crazy. And 6 of them were solo shots. So
yeah, franchise record. That's a lot of games. That's 50 years of games, right?
One thing I didn't have in my bingo card was this year's Royals team having the franchise record for most home runs in a game.
2 from Garcia, right?
2 from Garcia. I mean, are you kidding me? What did Garcia have last year? 3? Like,
he started out with 3, and then he had like 0 the rest of the way. Roughly.
Like, I am looking him up because I want to know how many actual Michael Garcia home runs we had last year. Michael Garcia last year had 7 home runs. 7 home runs. He had 2 on Sunday. He's got 4 already. He's 3 away from his career high, and we're sitting here on May the 6th. So he is a revelation that none of us expected. Everyone thought kind of Michael Garcia might be the first guy down on this team. In that game, the home runs, 2 from Michael Garcia, 1 from Bobby Witt Jr., no surprise. Vinny, the Pasquatch, had 1. Jonathan India and Michael Massey had their first of the year in that game. And in case this trivia question ever comes up, Luke Maile was
his first?
Was his first.
I mean, career first? I know it's this
and
first.
And it might have been. It was definitely his first with the Royals. Let me see. I think with the Reds he had a couple last year. So the journeyman Luke Maile hit 1 as well. So we're only 2.5 out now. after tonight, or maybe 2 after tonight's game.
I think Detroit won again. Cleveland lost, though.
Detroit just keeps winning, which is really annoying. But they're legit, I guess. I was hoping that maybe they were kind of a flash in the pan last year and lightning in a bottle.
I was wrong. They got postponed today.
Okay. So that's the half game, I guess, that we picked up. If you look at what's coming this week, we got 2 more against the White Sox. Thank goodness. Wednesday and Thursday. I love 4-game series against the White Sox. Then they got Boston for 3. And for your loyal listeners, we're going to have a treat for you next week because our friend Blast from the Past, Brett Jones, is going to be running. He is going to do the hot dog race. He will be in the hot dog race. We are going to have a live interview with Brett Jones, who's going to do run in the hot dog race in that Boston series against his son. I fully expect that he is paying his son off as we speak to let him win that hot dog race. There's no way he's winning it independently. Brett, I'm on record. There's no way if you win this hot dog race, it's not rigged.
Right.
I'm not betting on that because I'm certain that there's shenanigans that are going to be pulled off. But that they got 3 against Boston. Then they go to Houston. And then a week from this weekend is rivalry weekend, and they host the Cardinals. So that'll be a fun series to talk about, too.
Always fun time.
Man, the next 2 weeks are very winnable for them. They could be in a really good spot coming out of the next 2 weeks schedule. If you look at the stats, the things that pop, anything you're seeing pop.
The first one I noticed is Vinny is hitting under 200, but is leading the team in RBIs.
Yes.
So that guy
and homers.
And homers. You got to have a higher average from him, but if he can find a way to keep knocking in runs, even when he's struggling at the plate, that'll go a long way toward
yeah. I mean, he's got 22 RBIs and he's hitting below 200. If he turns it on, and to everyone who's screaming, and we'll talk a little bit about Jack when we get to our minor league update, but if everyone's just screaming about Jack, this is why you don't rush Jack up, especially at first base. Your leading RBI guy, even though he's hitting 200, is Vinny, and your leading power guy is who? Vinny.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to replace Vinny with him and hope that he does the same? I mean, if you're bringing Jack up, he needs to be at another position, which is why they're toying with him in the minors at other spots, right?
The right field spot, maybe.
Yeah, because if you put him in right, then he's taking the spot of a Renfroe, or I guess he could potentially take the spot of a Drew Waters. Although they got Drew playing left mainly now.
He can at least.
So I like that plan actually.
He could spell somebody in the corner outfield spot.
That's right.
He's probably not ready to play every day, but
yeah, that's right. The other thing that's really interesting is when you get to the pitching, because I mentioned how good the staff was, but if you put it into perspective, the number 1 starter for the Royals so far in ERA is the number 5 starter. Chris Bubich has a 1.98 ERA. That is wildly above anything we could have expected from Chris Bubich this year.
Yeah.
I mean, a 112 whip, a 198 ERA. He's averaging 8.8 Ks per 9. And I think, in 41 innings, he's got 13 walks. That's the key, I think, is he's lowered that walk number significantly. People just aren't seeing him. He's got a very deceptive delivery. And if he can be controlled and throw strikes, he's going to do great. Lugo, 284. Michael Wacha is 352. Lorenzen is the worst ERA starter at 423. And honestly, I'll take that every day.
Yeah.
If that's your worst starter,
I'm just looking to
absolutely take that. And then Cole Reagans is 379, which is good, but for Reagans is, I would argue, underperforming from an ERA standpoint. Pruitt mentioned it in the regular broadcast. If you guys listen to that one, you can go over and get our General Sports podcast. You can listen to that. But Reagans has pitched 35 2/3 innings, and he struck out 57. So if you're wondering what that K per 9 rate is, it's 14.4.
That's pretty good.
I just can't even fathom 14.4 strikeout. Like, that's got to be up there in the historic range. I'm going to look that up. While you talk, is there anything you've seen that's surprising to you, or anything else you want to call out from a statistical standpoint?
We've talked a little bit thus far in the season about the Royals defense and how that contributes. I noticed that Bubic has been the beneficiary of 5 double plays that the Royals have turned in his starts.
Wow.
Which is helpful.
That's great.
And then Lugo and Waka have 4 each. So that can change a game, right?
That's huge.
When you get into it.
Get a lot of ground balls.
Yeah. If you're a ground ball pitcher and you got a stellar shortstop and a solid third baseman, you can bail yourself out of a lot of jams.
Well, I mentioned that 14.4 strikeouts per 9. The best season ever for someone that threw over 100 innings was 2019 Garrett Cole. He was 13.8 strikeouts per 9.
Wow.
So and it's a bbig if. To continue at that pace is crazy. But if he continued at that pace, it would be by far the best season ever. Jacob deGrom in 22. Well, he only threw 68 innings that year. Spencer Strider in 23 had a 13.5. But we're talking about all-time greats here. Now, if you want to say over the most number of innings, this still blows me away. Randy Johnson, 250 innings in 2001 and 13.4 strikeouts per 9.
Wow. That is
so
a lot
over
of pitches.
An extended period, that is, nobody has come close to that. And he was 37 that year. So that dude probably get a pitch till he was 50, coming at you halfway to the plate with his stride and throwing 100.
Right. As a lefty side armor, kind of.
Was nightmarish. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. Another great story is Daniel Lynch. Daniel Lynch, out of the bullpen, 0.98 ERA, 1.04 whip.
3 wins.
3 wins. 3 wins. Another guy that really had trouble with the strikeouts to walks. He still got the walks a little high. He's walked 6 people in 17 innings, but he's got 9 Ks, and he's just not giving up a lot of hits. So these guys that were lefties that struggled for the Royals over the past few years, Bubic and Lynch, seeing them kind of find their role, really settle into it has been a key for them. Schreiber's back to being, what we had at the beginning of last year. Shout out to Noah Cameron, who made his debut and had an incredible start. He threw 6 innings of no-hit ball before giving up a hit in the 7th. That was a really cool story. Unfortunately, had to go right back to the minors because of people coming off the injury list, but I don't think we've seen the last of Noah Cameron. He's another guy I think is going to be a key player for us. But you had guys come up and really step in. Steven Cruz has played a really great role in the bullpen. He's been unhittable. Ursig has done what he's always done, but even better, 0.63 ERA. And outside of that, we talked about last time that Carlos Esteves, bad outing. Outside of that, I mean,
I was just looking at that. So he
had 15 games. Yeah, go ahead.
He had the one bad outing where he got 2 outs and then walked 3 guys and gave up a bases clearing double or something.
Yeah.
So he gave up those 3 runs, and the rest of the season he's given up 1 run.
Yes, that's great.
Lucas Ursig, same thing. The whole season he's given up 1 run.
Out of your 8th and 9th inning guys, that's pretty incredible.
Yep, that will lock down
this far in.
And you're getting all the, we didn't say how many, but the starters are contributing a lot of quality starts. So really you're talking about a bullpen that needs to get you through the 7th inning. You can patch that together. 8th and 9th are locked down.
That's right.
I mean, that's a good formula for success.
Yeah. So if they could get a couple more guys to come up from the bat, or if Jack progresses, I mean, this team doesn't have to hit a ton. They just have to kind of be average, it feels like. Because in terms of your pitching, you're well above average. I think that is going to be the key for them moving forward is can they get some more bats. So let's talk about the minors. Let's go down on the farm, Prue. When we go down the farm, we've talked about some guys. Okay, we'll start with what everybody wants to talk about. We'll talk about Jack. You know why we're talking about Jack? Because he had 2 more home runs today.
Did he really?
So he had a matinee today at 2 home runs. Puts him at 8 on the year.
Yeah.
8 on the year, and now he's hitting, I think, like 320 something. He had a great start out of the gate. He was on fire. He had a slump where he went down to hitting like 210, 215, and it was kind of like, is he going to snap out of it? He's doing what you hope to see. Every one of these rookies, they're going to have that period. He had about 2 weeks where he just couldn't make contact, and now he's back on fire. And to have 8 home runs, he's leading our entire minor league system. No surprise there. In home runs, he's pretty close to the top in batting average. He is as advertised. Now, the question is, what do you do with Jack? Do you move him to AAA now? Do you let him see how he does at AAA? Do you let him keep building confidence at AA? I don't know. What do you think?
I like the move to AAA. I think he's shown consistently that he's going to light up AA pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to make him major league ready, you need to get him, good competition. He's going to see the best stuff he's ever seen when he gets to the majors. So it's less of a shock to the system if you continue moving up the ladder. I think he's got plenty of confidence that he will, and like you just said, the ability to pull out of a slump when he's not.
I like that.
I could tolerate a guy going, 2 for 16 over 4 games, something like that. But you don't want the Hunter Renfroes that go like 4 for 54 or whatever. Sustain it for 2 weeks or whatever. Like, have your bad 4 games and then get your head on straight and get back to work.
That's right. Yeah, so after today's game, he's hitting 330, OPS of 112. So that's demonstrating that you can handle AA for sure. Now, I noticed today, I was looking to see where he played. He was back at first today. So I don't know if they're going to try to ease him over to right, if it didn't go well. I didn't see that game. I don't know if he didn't necessarily play well on right. But that's going to be what stops him from progressing at this point, is his position. I'd love to see him in right more, but maybe that's not going to work, or maybe they're easing him over there. But he's definitely got the bat to do it. And you're right on the AAA. It would be good. It would be good to test. It can't hurt. If he struggles, you could always put him back down and let him get his confidence back.
Yeah.
Right. A couple other things of note in the minors. So I haven't talked much about Jordan Groshans. So Jordan Groshans is hitting 333. Jordan Groshans is actually hitting behind Jack in the lineup. So he's getting overshadowed for sure. He's hitting 329 with an 894 OPS. So very, very good numbers. And if he wasn't hitting behind Jack, he would probably be getting a lot more press if Jack wasn't stealing all his limelight. Because he's doing well from the power standpoint. He's got 3 home runs and he's hitting 330. He's a guy that we got. He was a free agent. The thing that's interesting about him is in 2018 he was a first round pick, 12 overall for the Blue Jays, and they let him go in the offseason. So the Royals signed him to a minor league deal, and he's obviously got a lot of potential. He's a third baseman, which is interesting. Although Garcia has played really well this year, and I wouldn't be kicking him out for anything right now, he definitely is in a position, at least, that he could advance in, right? Now, his career in the minors has not been phenomenal. He's been about a 250 guy. So this year has been a little bit of an anomaly. But if he found something, he obviously had a lot of talent to be drafted 12th overall.
Yeah.
He was drafted right out of high school too. So those guys sometimes take a little while to develop. And, right now he seems to be finding something. So he's one I wanted to highlight.
Okay.
He's having a really good start to the year. And he's even jumped up a little bit to AAA for a few games. So he's kind of gone back and forth. A guy they're testing a little bit. So Jordan Grosjean, somebody to keep in mind. He may get a call up later on in the year. I haven't talked pitching much. I'm going to talk about them in a second, but I have to give a shout out to our guy Asbel Gonzalez. So Asbel,
Got to have the Asbel update.
gotta have Asbel update.
He had 29
Our
steals
19-year-old friend Asbel, in 25 games, has 31 stolen bases. So
yes,
he is still pacing above one a game, which is ridiculous. What's crazy about him though is the dude's hitting 404.
that is, yeah.
Don't go looking for power out of Asbel. He's got 38 hits, 36 of which are singles.
Yeah.
But
when you can turn every other one into a double.
In actuality, doubles or triples the way he plays. So
yeah.
He's got one double, one triple. The thing that I really like about him too, is 14 walks, 10 strikeouts, 7 hit by pitches. He almost has more hit by pitches than strikeouts. Out of a speed guy, you can't get much better than that, right? Yeah. If you're getting a guy that is struck out 10 times in 116 plate appearances.
Please tell me he's their leadoff hitter.
Screams leadoff. He is their leadoff hitter. And it screams leadoff. And I know he's only 19, and we've been talking to Asbel. I'm not saying Asbel's going to be up anytime soon. But when you have numbers like that, it's even at single A, that causes you to pay attention. And he's only 19, so he's the guy that they could slowly bring up through the system. Who knows? Maybe he develops a little more pop. They tinker with his swing, but he's got a great eye, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, there's Luis Arias hits whatever, the same type of thing. He'll have
that's exactly right.
160 singles and doubles on the year or whatever.
And that ain't bad, right? That is that's something that is highly underrated, I would say.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in Asbel. I'll keep tracking him. The other thing I wanted to do this time is highlight some pitching. So we've had some good pitchers that have stepped up in the minors, and we need that. We want to keep that pipeline strong. Frank Mazzucato. So he's at High A Quad Cities. Frank Mazzucato was the number 7 overall pick in 2021 for the Royals. He's a lefty. And he struggled a little bit his first couple of years, but he has really turned it on this year. He started 5 games. He's got a 1.42 ERA, and the thing he's got to work on still, he's got great strikeout numbers. He's averaging 1 an inning for strikeouts, but he's walking a little too many people. He's got 16 walks in 25 innings, so he needs to get that number down. But a 1.42 ERA, really good to see one of our prospects doing well there. Another guy to highlight is Hunter Pattison. He's also a guy that we picked in the 5th round. He's High A. He's had a really good start to the season as well. And then with a 1.86 ERA. And then the guy I highlighted last time, I'm still keeping tabs on, is Henry Williams. Henry Williams is a AA guy that we got in the trade for Scott Barlow. He was kind of a throw-in guy, and everyone's like, he was a 3rd-round guy for the Padres, but is really having a stellar start to the season with a 2.10 ERA and 5 starts. I really like Henry Williams, and he's at the AA level. We haven't had a lot of production out of the AAA teams, AAA pitchers yet, which is a little bit concerning. I would like to see somebody step up for Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had it. They really don't have anybody who is, I would even consider. They've had relievers that have done okay. We've brought up, there's been a bit of a pipeline, the Cruises of the world that have come up. But really, it's Noah Cameron is kind of it when you look at the starters down there right now. But some kind of exciting stuff coming, and of course the Jack update's always fun. If you haven't seen, you can Google his latest home runs. The one he hit over the weekend, he hit on top of a building in right field. The 2 that he hit today were at home in Northwest Arkansas, and what was most impressive about them is they were oppo shots, and about as oppo as you could get. Like, he hit the ball very, very opposite field. And for both of those home runs, which to have the kind of power that he has and be able to do that both of them today opposite field is the dude's raw power is disgusting.
He's got kind of the Mark McGwire moonball type
Totally.
ball path or whatever. He's
He
not
hits the crap out of the ball.
yeah. He's just got a knack for hitting the ball high and far versus
Absolutely.
the lasers that barely squeak out.
Yes. Yeah, I saw Kyle Isbell hit a home run tonight, and it was the laser. It was the line drive just over the fence.
Yep.
Right? Like
the launch angle just happened
that's
to be
not what
perfect or whatever.
Right, exactly. He hits majestic shots. And that's I remember going to, whenever I lived in Cincinnati, I went to a game the Reds and the Cardinals were playing, and it was back when McGwire was in his prime. And everybody came to batting practice because that's how fun it was whenever he was in his prime. And like the oohs and ahs from his home run shots, because they were all just moonshots.
Yeah.
Like, just hung and you just watched it and you were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. That's the kind of, like, you don't get those kind of, Judge is that guy, right? Judge is the kind of guy that hits freaking moonshots. Giancarlo Stanton hits moonshots.
Yeah. Yeah.
You rarely, those are the kind of guys that you get to see, and he has the potential to be that guy. And the Royals haven't had those kind of guys. I mean, really, Bo Jackson was that kind of guy. Bobby Witt is just an incredible all-around guy. And he hits the ball really hard, but he's not a moonshot guy.
He's not a moonshot guy. He's a quote unquote normal home run guy, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's just a great hitter.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of incredible things out of him. But Jack is that traditional, knock the piss out of the ball as high and hard as I can. And the exit velocities are really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's what Lewis is very excited about. Exit velos and top of the league. Really, there's not many that hit the ball 120 miles an hour off the bat, and he's had a couple instances of that already this year. So. Right.
So that's a lot of fun. So from a buzz standpoint and I'm going to tune in to watch, Jack's going to be that kind of guy. Let's hope he just continues it, doesn't get too caught up in his own press clippings. I don't know much about him personally. I don't know about his ego. Hopefully he's a guy that can keep the ego in check and can roll with the punches. The one interview I have seen with him, he seemed like a pretty down-to-earth dude. He didn't make any demands about pitching. He said, hey, I'm gonna he wants to pitch. He's made it clear that he wants to pitch, but he didn't say like, no, I have to pitch.
Yeah.
He was okay hitting only this year, and I think that's paying dividends for sure.
Yep.
And you get a guy like him that's not having to split time. Listen, we'd all love it if he was Shohei Ohtani, right? But I would take Mark McGwire.
Yeah. There's only one Shohei. And there's only one Mark McGwire, too, but...
Right.
Odds are we're going to get another Mark McGwire lookalike before we get another Shohei.
Shohei lookalike, I agree. Absolutely. Anything else to chat on? I guess we've hit a pretty good coverage here. I got to give my Matt Cronin shout out.
Yep, we need our Matt Cronin update.
We got our Matt Cronin shout out, Matt Cronin update. So he did get promoted to AAA. As I had said, he's now pitched 5 2/3 innings in AAA and not given up a run. So that brings his total minor league stats thus far this year to a .66 ERA over 13 2/3. So way to go, Matt. Still killing it. Keep it up. The majors are calling if we keep this pace up, buddy. Keep it up.
He's in the Northwest,
That's right? Matt Cronin. He is now in the Northwest, so his game's going on right now. He's playing for AAA Seattle Tacoma Rainiers.
Yep.
So
very cool.
We'll keep updating Matt, and hopefully he'll get the call up this season.
That'd be awesome. All right. Thanks for the update, Chiz. Always good.
Awesome. Awesome Royals update. Hey, let's keep it going. We got a potential playoff team again this year. Let's do it.
Yep. I'd like to see it. Got to keep the bats hot and keep the pitching.
Keep the bats hot. That's the key. Keep the bats hot.
Thanks for joining us again. We'll have Dex back with us next week, we think.
And a special guest, Brett Jones.
And special guest, hot dog contest participant, Brett Jones. We don't know if he's going to be mustard, ketchup, or relish, but...
We don't. It has not been revealed yet.
Pretty sure he's going to be last.
Yes. Whatever he is, he's going to be last.
That'll be fun to catch up with him and talk through his
Absolutely.
experience. All right. So long for now. We'll be back again next week. Like, follow, and subscribe. And until next time, stay shrewd.
Stay shrewd, Royals fans.